While Wilbon parties in L.A. with the one percenters, many of the people like me will be settling in for a big weekend of college basketball. So we welcome in ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg from Plainview Kennedy High School, who's in Lawrence, Kansas for tomorrow's game between West Virginia and Kansas. Let's start with this. West Virginia and Kansas are among the many top teams that have been getting knocked off left and right by unranked teams. Is there one team out there, one team that you trust, Seth?
I trust Michigan State. When I look at Michigan State, you're talking about Jaren Jackson emerging as one of the elite players in college basketball. We talk about Ayton, we talk about Bagley, we talk about Trae Young, but Jaren Jackson as a freshman is having a fabulous year. You put him and Miles Bridges together, they're getting better point guard play. They're an elite defensive team, and when they're making shots, they are tough to beat. The other day against Minnesota, they make 10 of their first 12 threes. Michigan State, they rebound, they defend, they make shots. They've got star power, and Jaren Jackson, to me, he's a difference maker. I trust the Spartans.
Tony, the Jaren Jackson you and I remember, of course, all of us remember, was his dad who played at Georgetown.
That's right.
Listen, let's talk about two other teams, Seth, who are in that mix. Number 3, Villanova travels to number 4, Xavier tomorrow. If Xavier wins this game, I've been flirting with this, do you put them up there with the best of the best right now?
If you asked me to give me 2 teams I trust right now, I'd have Xavier in that group. And the reason I have them in that group is, one, Trayvon Blewett. People don't talk about him because in a lot of ways the Big East is like off-Broadway. You know, to me, like if you talk about the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, they're on our network all the time. The Big East, not like it used to be. So Trayvon Blewett, he's a go-to scorer, 6'7", can shoot it, can put it on the floor, he can get 40 on any given night. But it's not just Trayvon Blewett. J.P. McCure is a physical, tough guard that can make plays, and they've got incredible depth in their front court. They've got legitimately 4 front court players. One of them shoots the 3. One of them can rebound. They've got a toughness about them. They've got real good point guard play from Quentin Goodin. Right now, in this moment in time, I have Xavier as one of those teams I can count on.
So, Seth, you're mentioning players who not everybody in the country has heard of. But there's one guy everybody knows, and that is Trae Young, who's fallen upon some hard times lately. Did we all get ahead of ourselves with Trae Young?
I don't think we got ahead of ourselves because in that moment in time, Tony, think about what Trae Young was doing. I mean, he was averaging 30 and 10. He was shooting almost 40% from the three-point line, but he's playing in the Big 12. And when you play in the Big 12 this year especially, you're always playing against great coaches, you're playing against great venues, and you're also playing against really good players. I think Trae Young is getting worn down, and I think he's getting game playing for him. You think about how people are playing Trae Young now compared to how they were playing him at the start of the season. They're denying him the basketball. They're trapping him on ball screens. They're trapping him on dribble handoffs. They don't let him get it back. And what's happening is you're taking away his assist. You're wearing him down. Who wouldn't get worn down? Traveling in the Big 12, playing against Devontae Graham, playing against Keenan Evans, playing against the best point guards in the country. Trae Young is fabulous, but he's still a 19-year-old. And 19-year-olds on this stage, in this spotlight, game in and game out during the grueling Big 12 conference. Remember the Big 12, it's a true round robin. Everyone plays everyone twice. There are no rocking chair games in that league. You got to bring it every night. I just think he's getting worn down.
Well, let's go from one struggling, perhaps, player to a team that's struggling that we're not accustomed to talking about, Seth, and that, of course, is Kentucky. John Calipari gets great players every single year. How shocked are you that any one time, like now, they're struggling like this?
I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. First of all, this is the youngest John Calipari team of all time. I mean, most times he's starting 5 freshmen. They don't have a pure point guard and a play starter. They don't have a low-post go-to scorer. They don't have an identity, and I think that's the biggest thing. When I think of John Calipari's teams, I think of elite defensive teams. Not sure they're that. I think of teams that can punch it inside when they had Karl Anthony Towns. Not sure they're that. I think of having a guard that can just take over the game like a John Wall. I'm not sure they have that. I think that they can get better, and I look for John to do this, and I'm be interested to see what happens this weekend. I look for him to go with basically 2 guards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Quade Green, so they take care of the ball and have a little bit better shooting. And I think he's not going to play any post guys. He's going to play 3, 6, 9 guys across the front with a Knox, with a Vanderbilt, maybe a P.J. Washington, maybe a Wenyen Gabriel, and he's going to shorten his bench and try to get maybe 7 guys to play well together. But I would be as shocked as them getting to the Sweet 16, but I would not be shocked if they got knocked out in the first round.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Enjoy the All-Star weekend.